Hello, gorgeous. I'm Tammy. This is I Am Inspiring Women. And this week we have another great interview. All right. Hello, everyone. This is I Am Inspiring Women. Today I have Micara Link. Did I say that right?
It's Micara.
Micara. Thank you. So this woman is amazing. Reiki master, intuitive spirit coach. She's doing all these amazing things, has family, 2 little kids, and I love her energy. She's really great. Micara, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I think that's, a really good summary. I have been doing energy work for over 10 years, teaching for about 8, specifically Reiki. I'm an intuitive soul coach, and my passions really lie around whether it's an energy work or my intuition work, is I really truly believe you have the answers and the healing inside of you, that it's right there, but oftentimes it's because of the world we live in, the culture we live in, the busy lives we have, it can be hard to discern and tap into our own inner wisdom, our own voice, and even our own ability to heal. And so I help redirect and guide people back to that sacred place. Yes, I'm a mom of 2. I have a 4-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter. Married to my husband, who we've been together for 18 years. We live in central Minnesota. It's really cold and gray today and windy with a few snowflakes. But yeah, other than that, I love outdoors, and so I love kayaking and hiking and anything health and wellness. That's me in a nutshell.
Kayaking and hiking is our thing too. We actually have kayak racks on our truck. So we've gone over what you do for a living. How is this something you chose, or is it something that just kind of came to you, as part of your spiritual growth? How did you come about being a yogi master and a coach?
Yeah, I definitely did not choose this. If you would even told me I'd be doing this, years ago, I would think you're crazy. I didn't even know it existed. A lot of my life, my whole life, I wanted to be a psychologist. So I was definitely kind of leaning in the right direction, if you will. In middle school, we had career days, and I took all the psychology career days, or social work and stuff like that, where my friends would go to cosmetology, and I was this deep 7th grader. And then in high school, I took all the psych classes that were available on my high school. There was an AP, an advanced placement psych class. I became that teacher's assistant because I just wanted more. I wanted to read the papers and keep studying the material after I even took the class. So of course I went to college and I majored in psychology with the plan that I would just open a private practice someday and work that way. But about that junior, senior year, when I had to make the decision on going to grad school, because you can't do much with a psych degree with a 4-year degree. So I'm looking at grad schools. That's the next step. It was one of the biggest turning points in my life, because it's one of the first times I felt this internal, and you can't see me, this internal, right here in that gut instinct, this sense of a no. I didn't know what that no meant, so I didn't really have a language around what intuition is, that we have this inner knowing, that it will guide you and steer you. That was not in my conscious awareness, but I just had a feeling it doesn't feel right. I ignored that voice because, it doesn't make sense. This is not part of my plan, right? So I continued to pursue. I had the applications, and I just was really continuing to go after my goal. But the more I continued to ignore that no, the louder and stronger it got. Till one point I actually started to feel sick, physically stomach aches when I thought about the next step. So I remember not knowing who I was talking to or what I was saying, but I just said, it was I said, okay, fine, I will listen. I guess I'm not supposed to go this direction. And I surrendered in that moment to that no, and immediately felt this sense of relief. And okay, what is this next step? I don't know what the next step is, but it's not what I thought it was. So this is kind of a good note to take for some people too. Like, we often want the next step before we take it, right? We think, I need to know what's next. But a lot of times with intuition, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to trust that little voice, that the still small voice, that knowing inside of you. And so then I went through, I graduated college, not going to grad school. Now I'm like, what next? What now? For months of not knowing, I think it was like 9 months later, I had this really interesting encounter. It was like at a Halloween party,
Mm-hmm.
and they had tarot card readers and stuff like that, which I'd never had done before. And the one lady was doing tarot card readings. It didn't work out for me, that reading. I didn't connect with it. But there was another woman there who was like reading auras. And that really was powerful. So she read my aura, told me all these things about me, not even looking at me, she wasn't even looking at me, but she was reading it through her mind's eye, right? Her intuition, her psychic abilities. And that was like that opening of like, what is that? And it was so powerful, so healing, that I ended up emailing her and just saying, like, I need to know more about this. How did you do that? How does it work? And I ended up taking some intuition development classes with her that I could do all of it. I could see auras. I discovered in that time how sensitive and open I'd always been, but I didn't have a language for it. I didn't have an understanding. The world didn't have an understanding for me. How I would know, like, I could be in a crowd of people and I could know, like, that person's suffering, that person needs help. And I would just know. And I'd bring it up to other, like my mom or something, like, is she okay? And she's like, oh yeah, she's fine. And I'm like, no, something's up. Like, I knew. And it was really life-changing for me. Like, I kind of, that was a divine, I did not orchestrate that.
One of those
It was, yeah, like a divinely guided meeting with this woman. She helped shift that course. She helped awaken me to those gifts within me. And then, which led me to be curious about energy healing. I had really powerful experiences with my just training in energy healing with Reiki. And then I started to just really casually, organically work on other people. And I saw how amazing and powerful and healing it was for them. So it just kind of lit that passion there. And so that's how I started. So yeah, I didn't choose it. I feel like it chose me. I feel like it was a very divinely guided path, I guess. So yeah.
I completely understand that. The whole you go in from a logical, very linear thinking, because psychology is pretty linear. It's the structures, these are rules, and then you go to the complete opposite. And being able to listen to that intuition makes a big difference in whether your path is going to be the actual path that you need to be on or not. So I completely understand that one. So did you have any limitations or challenges with this, as far as, I've spent all this time in school, family and those around you thinking, what the hell is she doing?
My own self-imposed beliefs, because like I did intuitive or psychic readings for years. I don't say I do those anymore. I definitely still use those abilities when I'm working with somebody, but I have changed the language around what I do. But that, I think it was more me. I didn't have any pushback from it. My husband's always been 100% supportive. My parents they just didn't understand. I don't know. I think a lot of people thought it was like maybe a phase too. Like I was in my 20s. I was in my mid. They were just like, nah, it's just some phase that she's going through. But nope, here I am. Like over 10 years later, it's still my path. It's what I'm supposed to do. But yeah, it was more me working on my own fears. Doing intuitive readings with people when you're, 23, 24, just kind of starting to become an adult yourself. A lot of my my clients were, twice my age, and you're getting heavy questions. You're getting, should I stay with my partner? Should I quit my job? How's my health? Like these really heavy things. And so I know that kind of became overwhelming for me for a while, that, these people were really hanging on every word
Right.
that I gave them. Everything that I said was like weighted. And I could really talk a lot about that, but that will go off topic for now.
And you know what? That's something we can talk about at a later time, because it's something that we really need to, I think, is an important topic.
It's important, and it's also why I've shifted to the way I work now. And my greatest passion, I call it, I'm teaching an online course right now called Empowered Intuition, because I've just seen a lot of people over the years hand their power away, and specifically to psychics. You reach out to a psychic or a medium when you're really feeling lost, maybe in a down place. Maybe you've tried a lot of other things, and there are wonderful intuitives out there, but just to not hand your power away. So anyway, again, another topic, but I'm really passionate about that.
I think it's, even though this has been around for a very long time, I think we're coming into a shift where a lot more people are becoming aware of it, and becoming aware of it in themselves instead of it putting it outside of themselves. And that's with anything, whether, you talk about God or you talk about, your own abilities. A lot of people have put that to the outside. It's someone else can do it, but I can't. And so now there's a shift of maybe I can, and how do I deal with that? Yeah. So it's very powerful. It's very enlightening, not enlightening as in spiritually, but enlightening as in knowing more about yourself, enlightening. So it's I'm right there. So did you, creating this business, is this something that you started out, you just jump on and you start working with people, or is it something you had to build up? Obviously you have to build up a clientele, but as far as getting yourself out there, there's a different way of doing that. If you're a psychologist, psychotherapist, whatever, and this path, what did you imagine a different kind of like share yourself kind of, do you know what I'm saying? It's like that mindset. Okay, I'm a psychologist, I've got this degree, and then you go to spiritual. Well, you don't exactly have a specific degree per se with that people are like, oh yeah, I definitely want to go there. But do you understand my question? It's like, how do you?
I think so. So in the beginning, I definitely didn't start charging for things right away. I really wanted to practice. I really felt strongly that, okay, because I have this whole story about how I asked God, do you really want me to do this? I am not going to jump into this world and be of service in this way if it's at all fake or phony, or if I'm being misguided or anything. So I have this whole, I did multiple, a few different intuition development classes, and I just was really open. I was naturally really open. I was a natural channel. But it weirded me out how open I was, because again, it was like, what? And a lot of my teachers, my coaches were like, you're going to be doing this professionally one day. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? This is insane. And that's really my head. My ego, that other voice was like, this is just crazy. Do they just want my money? They just want me to like them, and they want me to keep signing up with classes for them. So I did this whole test where this other really well-known intuitive had a workshop in our town for part of a special event. And it was during a work day. I had work, so I took work off. And I prayed to God. I said, okay, if this is real today, please give me clear sign that because if you give me a clear sign, this is what I'm meant to do, I will jump in 2 feet. But if not, I'm not going to surrender my life over to this. I'm not going to waste my time or other people's time. And so this workshop the lady didn't know me. So that was good. Because again, I was like, she's not going to manipulate me. This is my ego, by the way. Okay. Because no one else manipulated me. I had positive experiences. I was just afraid. And being careful. And I didn't know anyone in the class. And we had to partner up and practice giving readings and stuff like that to people. And I did that all day. And one of my partners, I remember I had my eyes closed when I was reading him, and I was holding onto his watch, and I was telling him all this stuff. And I opened my eyes, and his jaw was dropped, and he looked at me and he goes, how do you know all of that about me? And I'm like, I don't know how I know this stuff. I just do. And then he looked at me, he's like, you are like, you're an incredible intuitive, you're an incredible psychic. And I'm like, okay. And the rest of the day was just experiences like that. So I was like, that was my sign. I knew. So it was after that point that I went in with 2 feet, but I still practiced, because I felt like if I was going to do this, and especially in a world where there is a lot of fear, especially fear of that intuitive or the psychic world or any of that, I wanted to be good at what I did. So I practiced. And there was a point where I think I started to charge. I don't know the exact point, but I was like, okay, I'm doing this enough now. I feel like I have some experience under my belt. And then it really happened organically. Like I've never advertised. I've never, so how I built my business, I was lucky to be in my mid-20s. I didn't have kids. I was early married. We lived in a very affordable house, so there wasn't like big, heavy like mortgage or anything over us. So I had this turning point in my career where in my day job, where I knew it was time to leap. And so it was July. And I remember I quit my job. I put my month in, I quit my job, and I went in full time and just made myself available. And it's all been word of mouth, like all these years. It was just, that's how I grew my business. So I don't have a lot of business, like nitty gritty, how to build a business. I was in a marketing class in college and dropped out. But yeah, mine's always been intuitively led, kind of like spiritually led. Just.
And that's I find that with intuitives, with people who are heart led, they don't do a lot of marketing. Mm-hmm. It is, all their business is word of mouth, and it's funny because whether it's, doing something spiritual or doing something, concrete, as in, I don't mean concrete, but, like building signs, which is what we do as far as, business wise, mm-hmm. All of it's word of mouth, and it's all heart based, and it's all intuitively led. And the right people come to you when you're doing what you're meant to be doing. And that's why, I love what you do, because it draws good people to you, and people mm-hmm. who need you, people who are the right people that are meant to be in your life. So mm-hmm. You have written goals as to what you plan on achieving with your life, or do you have mm-hmm. a vision board, or how do you plan?
Yeah, right. That's kind of what I've learned. I used to do that a lot. Like I used to get very clear. I did a lot of vision boarding. I would teach vision board classes. And I think there's a lot of value to that. Wherever I'm at in my growth. So it's really intuitively led. Like last year, I had more of like feelings I was going after. I wanted to be more bold. Mm-hmm. I noticed I was kind of holding myself back in fear certain ways. So I'm like, girl, this year you're going to be bold. You're going to be bold in your purpose, bold in your truth, and you're going to step out more. So that was so I didn't really create a vision board around that, but I knew when I came across those opportunities, it was time to be bold. And I purposely decided to be bold. And be more clear as well in my message and in my truth. I really wanted clarity, not only for me, but so people knew what I stood for.
Right.
I tried to get more clear, I was getting more clear on that. So I did certain workshops and joined certain groups that even were focused on that to help support that for myself. What was I just thinking? Oh, right now my goals are, so with that last year, I used to teach an intuition development class that was very, it was fine. It was great. A lot of people liked it. But I have restructured that over the years to create this new workshop that I call Empowered Intuition. And so my goals this year is to just bring it to the public. Like I started my first online course. I've never done anything online. My first Facebook group where I'm teaching a 6-week class on it. And so we're on week 4 right now. So we have a couple weeks left. And it's totally free. But again, it stayed with my line of being more bold. Like I don't do a lot of Facebook Lives. I don't do a lot of these videos. So that was great. So now my next step with that is I just want to bring it out to the world and teach it. I want it to be an in-person experience. And
Is that something, I mean, we can attach links below, obviously, but is that
Mhm.
something that you're going to have ongoing? So you'll
Yeah.
on the road, somebody can watch this, they can go and have, even if
Yep.
it's not active, it's something they can watch recordings of.
Yep. My 6-week class will always be up. And that was like to get the group kickstarted. I'm going to keep doing events. I mean, from here on out, like it might be a certain night where we're going to do a meditation, or I'll do another 6-week series, or those, I'll kind of see what's coming through me and how I'm guided to share. But the Empowered Intuition group's going to stay up, and yeah, it'll all be dedicated to
Perfect.
enhancing our intuition, connecting to our soul, and living our life in alignment from that place. So,
So actually, that goes perfectly into the next thing, because I want to be able to have people get more connected with themselves. What do you do for self-development, for personal growth? You know, obviously working with other people enhances your connection.
mhm.
Are there other things that you do?
You know, I am like a junkie with this. I pulled off a little bit because I started to wonder if my self-development, my personal development was perfectionism in disguise for a little while. So I was like, and that's kind of where I let some of the vision boarding and stuff go. And I want to come back to that really quick, because the vision boards are important and they can help keep you, because you know, aligning your mind and your heart and having that vision is so beautiful and important. I've just started to do more internal, so I will visualize and I will feel internally, more so now than I'd have an external representation. Although I do think I'm going to do one inside my journal soon. I have a big open page in my journal I'm using right now. I'm like, I should put some vision, like some images here. So um, oh shoot, what was I gonna say? What did you ask me about the?
You were talking about personal
Oh,
development.
that kind of thing. Yeah. So so it's funny. So I do, I anything psychology, mindfulness. Yeah, I've taken yoga teacher training. Beyond yoga teacher training, I studied meditation and yoga nidra. Um, there's a therapy, a trauma-based therapy called somatic experiencing that I really love, and I took training in that. I'm always reading nonfiction, so authors, women authors that I love, that I find inspiring, I'm reading their material. That's often about some sort of, you know, it's usually deep spiritual things like that. I love Tara Brach. Right now, I love Kate Northrup. She's a fellow business
Yep.
mom.
I've read Christian Northrup stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
That's where I am.
yeah, I have her books too. Um, so I'm always in sort of that self-discovery. I love that stuff. I think to me, it really enhances life. Of course, you know, again, starting from 7th grade, having an inclination with psychology, I'm curious about all of that. And so, yeah, I'm deep in yoga, meditation, energy work. Um, yeah.
So I know you're more of a go with the flow kind of girl, which I love. You said you like kayaking and hiking. What other kind of stuff? Obviously, you've got kids, so you're doing stuff with them. What other stuff do you guys do for fun?
Oh, for fun, we go to the movies. They love anything. Like, they love movies. They love going out to eat, right? Little kid stuff like that. We go swimming. We have a great Y that has like water slides and everything like that. We like to go swimming together. We went to the water park this last weekend. So again, water slides, the lazy river, all that kind of thing. We love travel. We just were in Costa Rica about a month ago for 10 days. And so it was like, wildlife is huge for all of us. And just swimming in the ocean and trying new foods. We love doing that together. So we're already planning our trips for the next year or two as a family. My husband's a big fisherman, so we live on a lake. I'm looking out at the lake in front of me here. The kids love going. I love going fishing with him too, but I usually just kind of sit in the boat with him. Sometimes I cast out, but we love going fishing and boating and tubing in the summer. Oh gosh, what else do we love to do together?
Good
Yeah.
family time.
Yeah.
Do you work with your kids with yoga? Did you teach them yoga and meditation and to kind of connect with their
Yeah, they're exposed to it through me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like push it at all. I feel like as they see me live my life, I'm leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my teacher training. My daughter was 3 when I was in yoga teacher training, and then I got pregnant with my son right at the very end, the last couple months. So my daughter definitely saw me a lot. We did a lot more when it was just her and I. And then I taught yoga for years when my son was really little, and so they have kind of picked it up that way. And then watching me, but I'm not like, okay, we're gonna do yoga now or we're gonna meditate now. I don't know. I want to wait till they have a natural like draw to it where they're open versus like, oh, mom's making me meditate or mom's making me do yoga. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't teach it real structured to them. But we have it. Like I have children's yoga nidras. They have their own yoga mats. They'll do on YouTube. There's great kids yoga videos that they do. So they pick it up when they're ready.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way that will keep them interested in it instead of pushing it on. They kind of sometimes tend to push back, and it's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, especially my daughter. I mean, she's only 7, but she pushes back, I'm like, and we're going to do this. She's like, Mom. So I'm like, you know what?
Okay.
They'll see me. And if they ever want to do it, they know that I'm here for them to help them. Yeah.
So what other women inspire you? You said Kate Northrup, Tara Brock.
Yeah.
What other women?
Yeah. So Glennon Doyle. Are you familiar with her? It's Glennon Doyle now because I keep messing up her last name. I've followed her for years and loved her. I've traveled to see her all over. I just love her spirit and her energy. My favorite yoga teacher who I really look up to, Sean Korn. I did some training with her. I do her DVDs still at home. I look up to Sean. Really, like any woman, I was thinking about this before we talked today. Because part of me is like, I don't want to miss somebody. Like, who do I look up to? I got to write all their names down. But any woman, honestly, that I feel is living her truth and whatever that is, I adore. It doesn't even have to be a truth that I resonate with, or I'm just like, I love it because I see courage in that, and I see authenticity in that. I think that's what we're here to do. I think we're here to live our truth.
Yeah.
And anytime I see a woman doing that, or again, being bold or courageous, a woman who's standing up for something, I have chills. Like I get emotional. It's very much, that's so inspiring to me. I mean, oh my gosh. Even, who inspires me? Harriet Tubman.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, I just watched the movie Harriet. I mean, I've known of Harriet Tubman. Of course, we learn about her and history and everything, and we know. But then I'm like, she's my hero. She's incredible.
I have to watch it.
I mean, I don't know. Now I'm speechless thinking of her.
No, and that's honestly, that's why I started this, because I started looking around at, the women that I admire. And I realized that it's not only famous women. It's not only women who everybody knows their name, Oprah, and,
Right.
women who, people know. It's women like you and me, and, that are, single moms that are, lesbian and having to fight with, even still fight with, how people view them, or,
Right.
Black women. We live in Atlanta, and just all these women I see who are doing amazing things.
No.
And I want to, that's why I like you, is I want to be able to, connect with women and back each other up. We need to support each other. That's my big thing. We have got to support each other. So
I think a lot of us can feel alone, because if we're independent, strong, resilient women, women who are willing to stand in their truth and maybe stand out of the crowd, it can feel lonely at times.
Yep.
I just talked to my therapist about this, okay, like a few weeks ago, and we were relating because she's a similar personality, and so it's so important. It's so healing, like just being around women like that have similar a similar independence, a similar mindset, or just, again, not, you don't have to be well known for it, but just even that silent courage that, I don't know, women supporting women is just really deeply healing.
It is, and I do understand. What's your favorite book?
Oh gosh, that's so hard. I'd have to say, I don't know if I have one. Let me think. You know what my mind jumped to was Shel Silverstein.
Yep. I love Shel Silverstein.
Mary Oliver devotions. Her, again, Mary Oliver. Oh, love her. Her compilation of poems is in the book Devotions, and if I had to pick one, you know, I'd probably pick Mary Oliver Devotions, or like Shel Silverstein, because he just cracks me up. And
Ronnie Babbitt.
uh,
I remember reading that to the kids. I actually have all of them. Like,
do you? Yeah,
yes.
we have a few.
The kids are like, "Can I have them?" Like, no, these are mine. Yeah. I will buy you your own.
Yeah,
I love them.
Me
So,
too.
what would you like your message? What, you know, when talking to other women, talking to other young girls out there, your daughter, what would you like them to know?
I would love for this deep self-trust. A self-trust that is, it makes me emotional thinking about this. Makes me emotional. This is why this is my passion. And just who you are. I think there's a tendency, especially as women, as girls, we have to mold ourselves to be pleasing in some way, whether it's visually pleasing, our personality needs to be pleasing. We're kind of like molded in the society, and we lose ourselves when that starts happening. And instead, I would really love to just, a message across the board is to have this deep trust in who you are naturally, like fully, authentically who you are, all your quirks, I mean, all of it, like your strengths, your weaknesses, whatever that is across the board, that you are divinely perfect the way that you are. And that little voice inside of you that's guiding you, to just have so much trust in that, and to just be like, I know who I am and what I stand for, and this is what I'm here to do. And of course, it's natural to have times of doubt and times of where we feel lost, but to have the awareness of those times, to be able to then just come back and sit with yourself, even in those moments, that, you know, the answer will come when the time is right, or, you know, yeah, just being able to be with yourself, even in those times of feeling lost or scared. We aren't always going to feel in alignment, but yeah, deep self-trust in who you are.
I think a lot of young women and a lot of older women need to hear that.
We all need to hear it. I need to be reminded all the time, because I still second guess myself, and I'm like, is that okay? Is this what it is? And then I'm like, no, I'm just deciding today I'm going to trust myself.
And it's, reach out to those who will help you in learning to trust yourself more, if that's something that you're not comfortable with, you know, like reaching out to you and, you know, in your Facebook group and saying, hey, how do I do that? Because so many of us don't know how to do that. We don't, because like you said, we've been molded and, you know, got to be the good little girl kind of thing. So.
And we value, I think, a lot of times other people's opinions. Like, it's great to get feedback and insight and that kind of thing, but to always come back to what feels right for you, what feels the truest for you, because everyone's going to have what they're going to say, and you can hear it, but always come back to that. What feels the truest for you, despite what they said, because little things they say might stick, and you're like, you know, that's right, that's true for me too, or it might be a bunch of BS.
Yep.
And to have that awareness and be like, yeah, I'm just going to ignore all that because I know what's true. But yeah, I think that's really important, having people in your life that support your truth, even just support you in finding that truth or coming back to it, that aren't going to help. Just keep noticing who might be derailing you a lot.
Yes.
And just maybe limiting your time around those people.
I agree, regardless of who those people are.
Yeah.
You know, friends, family, family,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's whoever is building you up. Those are the people that you want to be around,
Exactly.
regardless of how you interact with them or how they came into your life. That's the ones who are building you up. Those are the ones that you need to surround yourself with. So,
Yeah.
Micara, what kind of legacy do you want to leave?
Oh gosh. Why are you making me cry today?
Sorry.
I wasn't expecting this. No. Yeah, I guess that I'm just someone who walked my talk. That I walked my talk in such a way that I inspired other people to walk their talk. To just come back to that standing in your truth and trusting yourself so deeply that you love yourself and that you live. Like, one of my greatest passions too is that, like, we get this one life. So, like, let's soak it up. Like, each day is truly a gift. Like, I imagine God being like, okay, here you get another day today. And you're like, oh my gosh, thank you. All right, what am I going to do with this day? Or how am I going to make this day? And so to live it up, like, grab life and just soak in those experiences. Try the different foods, travel, feel your fear and do it anyway. And so that, like, living a full life.
Perfect. So, last question.
Okay.
What's one question I didn't ask you that I could have asked you?
Oh my goodness.
You?
I guess maybe about how to juggle with kids.
Yeah.
I think that's hard.
I agree. And actually, that's one thing that I want to talk to you more about, like another topic, is because, like I said, this initial interview is getting to know you, who you are, but what it's like. Having kids, all those kind of things, we want to talk more on these topics. So
yeah,
we will be having
I would say, like, I started my business pre-children, so I got such a good, I gained so much clarity about that. Like, if I started my business when I already had kids, I think I would have had I might have a different perspective. I probably would have made different decisions versus I didn't worry about, I didn't have mouths to feed, you know what I mean? So I was a much more of a risk taker and things like that. But now, having a family, a lot of it just, we even had to reschedule this interview because my son was sick, so it's just becoming really, for me, I'm a really creative person. And I discovered that I did not know how creative I was until I had kids, and I could no longer just do what I wanted when I wanted as I was inspired to do it. All of a sudden I had schedules. Yeah. And I had to, like, follow them. And then anyway, that was hard for me. So for me, that's been a challenge, being a creative, kind of free-spirited, march to the beat of my own drummer human, and then having these little kids to take care of and a house to manage. And that requires more structure, more organizing, more planning, that I'm still getting better at, So yeah, I guess that'd be a question for moms it's not easy, like running your own business or starting a business or being a solopreneur, and having kids and a house and just a husband, a marriage, like all of that too.
And that's obviously, like I said, I want to have other interviews because those are very important topics. And how do you do that? How did you figure out what you need schedules? All that kind of stuff. I definitely want to go into that more. But for this one, I thank you very much. Really.
Thank you, Tammy.
I reached out and I appreciate you getting back with me. Thank you very much. And as I said, we're going to have contacts for you down below. We're going to have follow-up interviews. So, anybody who's called to reach out to you is definitely, I'm encouraging them to, because you have a lot to give and a lot to share. And I really appreciate you. Thank you very, very much for doing this. Thank you.
Thank you.